Okay, we're recording. This is a video of 1736. We've got some water issues here. And this is a meter that's coming in from the city meter. This is all the water that comes into the home right now. Now, this little spinner indicates when water is going past the valve anywhere into the home, whether it be landscape, garden hose, dishwasher, anything. This is your main water supply. And as you can see, there's being some water is being consumed or used. Okay, and we'll go back over here to the valves for the sprinkler system for the front yard, and as you can see, both valves are on. When those valves are in line with the pipe, that means they're on. Okay, this valve here is off, OFF. I've got it turned off. So we've got water coming from the meter to these lines here, to this valve, which is number 1 valve in the front yard. And this is number 2 valve in the front yard. They're both off, OFF. Okay, they've been turned off mechanically. Okay, and also the solenoid is what clicks on and opens the valves electronically when this mechanical valve is open. But again, I'm bypassing the water, inlet water, by turning the valve off at this valve. And also this unit here is off in the backyard at the timer. So again, both valves are off right now, but the water supply to them is on. Supposedly we shouldn't have any movement out here unless water is being used. And as you can see, if you watch it closely, watch that arrow, it's moving. Okay, as you can see, the arrow's turned. So now we'll go back over here to the spot where we have the valves off, and we'll turn them on. Now supposedly there is water to the valve, but since the solenoid is not clicking on, the water is still not going to the sprinkler heads. I'm gonna turn them both. I'm gonna just turn one. This is number 1 station. That's number 2 station on the timer. The number 1 station was the one that we were contracted to get working. And again, as you can see, we're still moving. Still moving. All right? Now, without doing anything other than going back to the valves and turning number 2 on. This is number 2. We're going to open this valve. Again, there's water going to the valve, but the solenoid is not opening the valve, supposedly. It's all the way on. I'm cranking it all the way up, so it's fully open. Okay, it's fully open there, mechanically. And we come back over here to our meter. And as you can see, she's still turning. Ever so slightly, but it is turning. It should be, unless there's something on in the house. But I spoke with the tenant before he left. There's nothing on. Even if an ice maker is working, you shouldn't have a steady flow of water. Okay. So now we're going to go over here, and I put stops. Got to get out of the light. I put these stops in and taken out all of the heads, sprinkler heads. So now theoretically we have water going to this point, but cannot come through the point. Okay, it's a stop. I've done that. Now as we follow this line right down here, we get right here, and we've got standing water. Standing water. Now I'm not really sure if the standing water is running through the ground over here, but right here, more standing water. And just as a reminder, there is nothing on other than the water supply to the system. Okay, the valve is clicked on, the timer's not on, but and then that's in line with this line that feeds these sprinkler heads. See, they've all got stops on them. All of them. All the stops in the front yard. Well, number one station, put it that way. You're one station at a time. And again, I've removed the sprinkler heads, the pop-ups. And here's our valve again, just to reiterate. We are still in motion. So literally, as we're speaking, with nothing being on or utilized, there is a water consumption process going on. Okay, here we go. Over here, stops in place, stops in place. Okay, we go back over here to the tree where we had the manifold. Now, Miss Yolanda had a piece of vinyl 1/8 inch tubing with a little green insert in it. That broke off from right here. This thing right here is totally not correct. So much so that, you can see it or not, listen. It wasn't even glued in. So that's a major leak right there, okay? And again, this situation from here, this feed from here to here, is inappropriate. This manifold should be down line, way over here by the tree, right about at the base of the trunk, and then we run short 1/8 inch lines around the tree, and we anchor them to the tree so they spray around the tree. That way, a lawnmower theoretically can't touch it, kids can't kick it, and it should never ever be damaged. Okay, all the sprinkler heads, they're above the ground. They're above the grade. This level right here, that should be right at grade or just slightly below it. Slightly below it. Only thing that should pop up is the actual pop up. Okay, so again, we've got a joint right here that is not good. Of course, I have to cut it out beforehand. This is glued as a T. Cut it out way, where's my finger? Way back here, and then put another T on there, and then tee it off and dig underground per se, just a short distance, and bury the line, and put that manifold's bad. Put another manifold right there, a 2-head manifold. That's all we need. 2 lines coming off of it. Okay, but I haven't even turned the water on because really at this point, knowing that we have leaks with this, the pressure going to the system, there's no sense of wasting any water. We've got leaks for sure. I'm back to the point here in the center of the yard. You know, just standing water there, and it'll keep on coming until we figure out where the leak is. You know, the water's running all, of course it's going downhill, so this may be a downhill run. But again, we've got water, I call it saturation here. So, that being said, I'm going to go back over here and turn these valves off here. This is the main water supply going to the system, okay? Okay, both those valves are off. And to be honest with you, I'm already sure how they're plumbed. But this is a hose bib, so I would imagine that this is the water inlet supply is probably coming from the backyard maybe. I don't know where the tap is. But again, I think that we have water here. But long story short, I'm not really concerned with that leak per se, that little drip right there. I'm concerned with the feed that comes into here and here. It goes down underground somewhere and comes up over here before, okay, because the water comes into the valve on this side, through the valve, then back out down to the system. Even this line right here is a 3/4 inch line. It's just not plumbed correctly. This is a 3/4 inch line here with a 1 inch line over here. It's just not done very well. But again, we have issues, okay? Nothing we can't take care of, but again, there are issues. My wife would discuss this with you, Yolanda, and you'll make a determination. We're right at 3.5 hours right now. I had to get this far to make this video so you would understand without having to meet again. But that's where we are. So I'm going to turn both of these off because I'm sorry, I'm going to leave them both off. Let's go back over here to the meter and just verify that hopefully that will stop it from turning. Okay, we're at the meter, and we're going to watch it for just a couple seconds. We're looking at that arrow that's right here. That's our kind of like our timer. And as of right now, I just turned both valves off. They're supplying water to your sprinkler system via the valves that are mechanically and electronically controlled, and we have issues. We have something leaking through back there on the supply side of the valves, then throughout the system as it comes into the yard. Of course, like I said, there's that wet area right there, and that has gotten that way just, well, it was damp when I got here, and of course I turned both valves on because I was going to pressurize these stops and see what leaked there. But as I dug down, everything was wet. Every one of these, it's dry now, but this is all muddy. Everything was wet. There wasn't a dry hole here. You can see a dry eye in the house. This is all wet. You probably can't see it that well, but anyway, we're down there. It's still wet. This dirt right here is, see, it's all muddy. So, with that being said, there are some fittings in the backyard that I just kind of looked at briefly. Again, here's the soggy part we're walking back toward, just to reiterate, that aren't even glued together, and there's no cement. They're just, it's a pretty tight fit. And if you get the fit in there tight enough, it may not leak for a while, but eventually it will. It has to be glued. Even the glue they use, I'm not very fond of that blue stuff. It's still Christie's, but it's not the good stuff. So again, one of the things that we're so far blessed with is that it is PVC underground instead of vinyl so far. All these lines that I see coming in and going out, it is PVC. So there we have it. Stand by.